In 1918, wearing a mask in public could get you arrested, or even punched in the face. The world was in the grip of the Spanish flu, a pandemic that swept across continents, leaving fear and confusion in its wake. Suddenly, something as simple as a piece of cloth over your mouth became a lightning rod for anger, suspicion, and even violence. Sounds wild, right? But during the Spanish flu, masks didn't just divide opinions. Sometimes they split entire nations right down the middle. In cities and towns everywhere, the question of whether to mask up became a daily battleground, with neighbors, friends, and even families taking sides. Now picture this: cities like San Francisco made masks the law. If you stepped outside without one, you risked a hefty fine, public shaming, or even a trip to jail. Police patrolled the streets, scanning faces for compliance, and the local papers ran stories of people being hauled off for refusing to cover up. But across the country, folks in New York barely wore masks at all. The city's bustling sidewalks were filled with unmasked faces, and the rules were far more relaxed. It was almost as if the two cities were living through different pandemics. That's because health experts couldn't agree. Some said masks worked wonders, others called them useless bits of gauze. The science was new, the virus mysterious, and every day brought a fresh wave of uncertainty. Newspapers published conflicting advice, and the public was left to wonder who, if anyone, was right. It wasn't just about health either. The mask debate quickly became about personal freedom, government power, and the right to make your own choices. People worried about losing control over their lives, and the mask became a symbol of that struggle. There were anti-mask leagues, yeah, that's a real thing, where neighbors would gather to protest. These groups formed in cities like San Francisco, organizing rallies and meetings to demand an end to mask mandates. Some even staged marches, waving signs and writing angry editorials. Newspapers published letters from citizens furious about being forced to mask up, and the debate spilled out onto the streets in loud, passionate demonstrations. People argued in the streets, in churches, even in their own homes. Dinner tables became battlegrounds, and friendships were tested as everyone tried to make sense of the chaos. For doctors and nurses, masks were a lifeline. In crowded hospitals, where the sick and dying filled every bed, medical staff clung to any protection they could find, hoping to avoid becoming the next patient. But out on the streets, they were a symbol. To some, wearing a mask meant you cared about your neighbors and wanted to keep your community safe. To some, it meant safety and caring for others. Families sewed masks together at home, and communities organized mask drives to help those in need. To others, it felt like government overreach or a pointless hassle. Some people saw the mandates as an attack on their freedom and resented being told what to do by officials they didn't trust. And sure, the world was at war, but this was a fight over faces. Even as soldiers battled overseas, people at home were locked in a different kind of conflict, one that played out in every public space. Newspapers printed photos of mask slackers, people who refused to comply. Some papers even published lists of names, shaming those who broke the rules. Others wore their masks under their noses or with holes cut out for cigarettes. Sound familiar? Even back then, people found creative ways to bend the rules, sometimes with a wink and a grin. Some towns saw mask mandates come and go, lifted, then brought back when the flu surged again. The rules changed so often, people could barely keep up, and frustration grew with every new announcement. That fueled even more anger, more debates, and more confusion. People wondered if the rules were really helping or just making life harder. Politicians argued, doctors contradicted each other, and the public was caught in the middle. Trust in leaders and experts was shaken, and rumors spread faster than the flu itself. By the time the flu finally faded, over 50 million people around the world had died. The scars left behind were deep, and the memories of those bitter arguments lingered for decades. The great mask debate didn't save everyone, but it showed just how hard it is, even in a crisis, to get everyone on the same page. The struggle to balance safety, freedom, and trust is as old as pandemics themselves. 100 years later, the echoes are still loud. The arguments, the confusion, the hope, and the fear. They all feel strangely familiar, don't they? Who knew a simple strip of cloth could split the world in two? It's a reminder that history doesn't just repeat, it rhymes, especially when it comes to how we face the unknown together. Hit that subscribe button if you want more untold stories from the past. There's a lot more history just waiting to be uncovered. Stick around, because the next chapter might just change the way you see the world.